There's, from early spring till fall, there's not a morning that I'm not out there in the dark before sunrise with my coffee, and a lot of times at night we go out there and we sit, and the birds are going all the time, and the eagles fly by, and sometimes I'll see an eagle fishing, or the other day I saw an eagle grab a seagull. And the fact that we're on the flyway, this is magnificent. And it never gets old, never.
You'll see that when I go out and sit and watch the world go by, I'm right there on the Mississippi, so I can, every day something's happening. If the weather's good, people come out of their homes like ants come out of their anthills and head for that bridge and head for that river. People want to see and be a part of this wonderful river system.
I like the Stone Arch Bridge. You never know what you're going to see on the Stone Arch Bridge, and it's beautiful watching the water come through.
It's interesting. The Mississippi starts in northern Minnesota, wends its way through 11 states, I believe, draining 40% of the country, 2,500 plus miles. And while there have been a number of battlefields, Civil War battlefields along the river designated, this remains the only national river segment.
This piece of the river is especially unique on the Mississippi River. The river changes here more than anywhere else, I think, on its entire course. We start with a prairie river that comes into the northern part of the metro area. There's really no big floodplain, no tall bluffs. It's a fairly narrow river. At St. Anthony Falls, the only major waterfall on the Mississippi, it drops into an 8.5 mile gorge or canyon where the bluffs are only about a quarter mile apart to a third of a mile and up to 80 feet tall. And then at the mouth of the Minnesota River, about halfway through our corridor, it opens up into the wide Mississippi River floodplain. That river of Mark Twain, an image, myth, and metaphor that most people think of when they think of the Mississippi.
National park, boundary water, but that's a couple hours away.
Grandpa, we found your face!
It's prevention for their children.
Senator Dave Durberger.
Really?
The support of local
Holy cow!
grassroots
How did you
organizations.
get there?
We have a picture in the hallway here of Tom and Bruce going through the lock and dam, and the way Bruce signed the picture was to Tom, the godfather of MNRRA. And I think that speaks well to Tom's being identified as being the moving force.
As Minnesotans, we are blessed to have in our state the only national park unit dedicated solely to the Mississippi River. Next year's 100th anniversary celebration of the National Park Service offers us a chance to acquaint our fellow citizens with the wonders of this magnificent yet little-known park in our midst. The Mississippi National River Recreation Area is 72 miles long and resides in the heart of a major metropolitan area. It contains countless historic, recreational, scenic, cultural, and natural resource features. Prior to the environmental movement of the 1970s, the stretch that flows through the Twin Cities was literally an open sewer. For more than a century, it had been reduced to a conveyance of public waste of every description. There were few public amenities along its shores. This documentary will tell the story of how a vital stretch of this great river was resurrected and reborn as a national park.
I think about what George Latimer said, and both George and Whitney spoke at Tom's Celebration of Life. There were two mayors that day who said nobody knew what Kelly was talking about. Mayor Cohen and Mayor Latimer, nobody knew what this man was talking about. We were like ships passing in the night. What do you mean a river can be here in the Twin Cities? What? Nobody got it. He had kind of a singular vision there for a while, I think, until it took hold.
The critical role the river has played in our lives and those of our ancestors must be told, and the visionaries who saved it must be venerated if it is to be preserved for future generations.